Adorable. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you. Carter is loves animation and wants to be an animator when he grows up. So we have a few questions for you. So do you want to start with your first question?
Okay. What age were you when you decided that drawing was not just a hobby, instead something that you wanted to pursue as a career?
Wow. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Okay. It was before that, probably, but around that time, I was probably, I don't know, we'll say 8 to 12, somewhere in there. And I have a twin brother. We both drew together all the time. And we were nerds, I'll say it. We collected comic books before it was cool. But we drew a lot. There was a thing called Mad Magazine that was a magazine that was really popular, that had just artists in there doing funny, cartoony, stuff like that. And we would draw together all the time and wouldn't want to go outside and play or anything like that. We just wanted to draw all the time. So I knew pretty early on that I couldn't do anything else. I actually lost jobs when I was in high school because I couldn't concentrate. I would try really hard to work at this donut shop, and I would get distracted because I'm dreaming about characters and things in my head. And you got to have a big imagination, right, to be an artist. And that imagination got in my way a few times until I pointed it toward a career, and then it paid off.
Oh my goodness. Sounds like someone I know for sure. Okay, do you want to ask your next?
How did you start working at Walt Disney Animation? Did it meet your expectations being part of the world's most beloved animation company?
That's a good question. You know what? I'm one of those rare animators, at least, in my generation, that I kind of got into it, you could say late. Like it wasn't until after I went to high school, I wanted to be a comic strip artist. That's what I really wanted to do. Like my heroes were, the people drawing Garfield and the Peanuts and things like that. And so that was my goal, and comic books too. Like maybe do that if I get really good. Um, but then slowly but surely, I met a friend of mine in junior college that he had done a little stop motion clay animated thing, and shot it on a Super 8 camera. Maybe your mom knows what that is. I don't know. But this is a long time ago, before video and the internet. And so he showed me that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, the light went on. I thought you had to have millions of dollars, have a studio and all this equipment like Disney I knew about. But I didn't think the average person could do animation at home. And so my brother and I saw that. We just went, we have to do this. We already like to draw. Let's try 2D animation. And we immediately found out about CalArts, which is a school in California that they teach. It was the school for animation. It was one of the only schools in the United States. And that led to us going there, finding out that Disney would come to CalArts and look at our portfolios, and then potentially we could get into an internship. And so sure enough, that's what we did. And even in our sophomore year, only being there about a year and a half, we got into this internship right when Little Mermaid was being made. It was in production. This was 1989. I'm that old. And yes, so I didn't have all these preconceived notions of like my lifelong dream is to work at Disney. It all happened kind of quickly. Within a couple of years, I went from finding out, oh, I could actually do animation, to being at Disney literally 2 years later. And so I went in there but by then I was hooked. I had to be an animator at Disney. I had to rise in the ranks. I worked very hard for the next about 12 years, really, kind of rising in the ranks and working on film after film after film, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Mulan, and one after another, just loving it. And so, yes, the answer is, was it everything I thought? I mean, it was that and more. All my best friends that I still am friends with, I were people I worked with at Disney. All the people I learned from them, and I'd like to think they learned from me, but I mostly feel like I learned from everybody around me. And to go somewhere where, like, and by the way, at your age, Carter, learning isn't maybe the funnest word you ever heard, right? It sounds like work, but you know how it is when you draw. It's not work. It's when you love what you're doing. So like learning and working hard there wasn't work at all. It was like they had to kick me out at the end of the day. So I hope that answers that question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to?
What challenges do you face being an animator?
You know, and I'm a 2D animator. If you've seen the movie, that you know what that means. That's hand drawn, flipping big pieces of paper, like a flip book, but more expensive and larger. And but like that, that was hard. It was kind of grueling work, really. Like literally, you have 1 minute, maybe. Like I could probably put all week into a scene that goes by like that. It's literally like 2-3 seconds long, and it took me all week to animate it. So it's just one of those things where I always said, people go like, well, how many drawings were in that scene? And I always say, I don't count. I never count the drawings, because if I do, then it'll feel like work. It'll feel like intimidating and too much work. If I'm looking at my X sheet and going, oh, I'm only halfway into this. Oh man, I got all this work to do. I don't do that. I just think, oh, okay, he said this, he's talking here. Okay. And then I just think about it as I'm performing in very, very slow motion. I'm an actor with a pencil, and I'm just trying to be a part of that, in that moment.
Okay.
Do you have any favorite memories from your work at Disney?
Oh, a ton. So, I mean, I met celebrities. I met almost you name it, from Michael Jackson to Princess Di when she was alive. Tons of voice actors, from James Earl Jones to most of Star Wars and Star Trek actors. They all seem to come through at one point on tours, really. Just they were interested in animation, most all these people. Some of them were doing voices. Like I met Eddie Murphy, of course, because I animated Mushu. So I have all those fond memories, but I think the most special ones are just sort of the things that you remember from working on a film. And, sometimes it was one of my daughters that was born during Lion King, and that was that memory, and it ties the film and her age together. But other times it's just that day to day of like, I remember being in this guy's office, and we were talking about that one thing that one time. So it's kind of endless. I wish I had a great story, but meeting Roy Disney was a big one. So he came, that was Roy Disney Jr. But he looked so much like Walt, that when I met him, it was, I'd heard that, but when I finally met him, it was amazing to me to see. It felt like I was talking to Walt Disney, and he is a Disney. I mean, he literally was his nephew.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I have a question just off topic. We were very honored and we're lucky we get to go to the Walt Disney Studios a few times. We get to screen movies or go to premieres.
Oh, nice.
So whenever we are on the lot in Burbank, there's the animation building. And so we always take his picture in front of it, like every time. Did you work in that building?
No, so I was a part of the Florida studio that they opened up right after my internship. My internship was specifically for the staffing that new studio that they were going to launch in Disney World at Disney MGM Studios at the time. It's now called Hollywood Studios. And so I was a part of that studio. And so I've been there. I know the lot. I've been to, I would visit the California studio a lot because we were working on the same movie. I would be doing a part of Lion King, or a part of Pocahontas from there, but I would travel there. So I get it. And I wish I would have, but my brother did, my twin brother. I don't know if I completed that loop, but we both got into Disney back during that internship in 1989.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, Tom, they're saying our time is up. So we just wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. And good luck to you, Carter. Keep drawing from the heart.
Oh, for sure. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.